This is today I want to cover a segment of text at the Edfu Temple. This is an important piece of text because it clarifies a few things about the original set of creator gods, the first cycle of creation. This is something that I actually myself have always had questions about. I didn't really have a good definition of the Ennead and the nine gods that accompany the creator god, or and there's several Enneads sometimes, but here at the Edfu text, even there's always often mention of the Ennead, but here in this particular segment, you actually get the specific definition what it is. So that's why I wanted to cover this. This is found on the western side of the enclosure wall of the Edfu temple. The location of this, and it's up here in the third register. So the location of this passage is approximately here. So this is a graphic of the Edfu temple. These are the pylons, and this is south. This is the north wall here. That's the west wall. That's the east wall. And the text we're going to talk about is approximately here. And so what I'm going to cover is a couple of initial sayings by the two gods at the head, and uh, this is Horakti, Ra Horakti. Then behind him is seated Ptah. Ptah is the main creator god in the Memphite Cosmogony, and behind Ra Horakti and Ptah are seated the eight Ogdoad gods, or the primordial forces of the initial chaos into which light is created. That's the first act of the Ogdoad. They create Ra out of the lotus flower that emerges from the primordial pond on the primordial island of fire. All of that is written on the opposite side of the temple. So this is the Naos of the temple. So about same location, a little bit more, maybe a little bit closer to the south. There's a detailed account of the Ogdoad. And so this is almost exactly across the aisle on the other side of the aisle here between the enclosure wall and the naos, the temple proper. So we're going to start with the translation. So this is now here Rahorachti, and so let me see if I can zoom in. You have to bear with me. This is not easy to do. I'm going to try to explain the writing as best as I can. So Jet Medu means words to be spoken by Ein Ra Horachti. So there's Ra Horachti, uh, great God of the sky. And then this means Gesu Peru. So it means those are the temples. It's another way to refer to temples. Gesu Peru. The temples are Cheti means carved, incised with his name. So whose name the temples are incised with? You can think of it that way. The Api is the flying disc, or the winged disc. Shepes means noble, so the noble. So this is now another description of Rahorachti. So the noble flying disc. Uh, Hui Taui means the protector, or the one who protects the two lands, shown here as the papyrus and the lotus. M Jehenuif means with his two wings. Of course, this is it's a winged disc, right? So there's the two wings. Uh, as M means in the roll off, you can think of it that way. That's one way you translate M. It can mean from, but in Egyptian, very often there is you it's that there's a hull, there's a shell that is a statue or a person, and inside of that hull, that shell is an identity. That's the Ka, and the Ka has a name. So that's why this is a very common phrase. M behedeti. So as the behedeti, and then sab shoot means sab shoot means the motley plumed. So because the falcon has a plumage that's sort of checkered, has a beautiful color pattern, and so this is one of the epithets of Horus Badetite. So this is what now, and what is Horus saying? So um, what he's saying is here in the front, and what it says is roughly you can think of it as come, like come on, and go. So uh, this is IUM Shemetzen. Shemetzen, it's plural. He's talking to a group saying that they should go with, so they should go to this one. I was having a hard time with in the German Edfu Project is reading this as Chemai. Um, but it looks to me, it looks more like this is this is Eres and this is Mesenai. Mesenai refers to Mesen, which is Edfu, but it could also mean Ga, Gautai, which is my shrines or my shrine. So it's maybe another way to look at this is come on and go to it, my shrine. And of course, the context here, you have to, I have to mention this, right? So these are now the recreative forces. They have landed in the new land, which is Egypt, and they're founding the new temple, the primordial temple of Horus. They're sending the troops to lay out the temple, to measure it, to align it, and then to build it. And so this is now Horus Rahu telling his troops to go ahead and do that. And then there's the word fest. This is the it says wa em tepichach means um is to lay it down. Wa you could think of it as lay down. Em tepichach means quickly, fast, and tepichach means very fast. So it's an intensified speed. So he's basically uh, he's in a rush. Rao Rachti's in a rush. He tells his troops, quickly go to the site and start laying down the foundation of the temple. Then let's go over to Ptah, and I think in this image we have, yeah, we have all of this. So this is Ptah. I'm going to show you what he looks like. So this is obviously Rahu Rachti. So he has the sun disk protected by Mehen, the cobra, the protective snake that wraps itself around. And this, so in the text, we will learn that this is the pupil of the sun. So the pupil is Ra, and that's what this stands for. The Wadjet is the eye, and the pupil of the eye is what is the disk of Ra. And so Ra, Horakti Horus being the representative of Ra on earth, that who's who's bringing kingship down to earth. And that's what the Egyptian kings were. They were basically representatives of the sun god on earth, and their patron god of royalty was Horus. So what is Ptah saying? Jet Medu, words to be spoken, Ein Ptah, Nefer. Nefer means beautiful, perfect. Nefer, and this is hard to see, but this means Nefer hair, so beautiful of face. Um, and then it says Neter, Neter A'a means great God. Genti Behedet, so foremost, the foremost Behedetite. Ka, this is sweet pot. So Nejem Ka, this Ka means the bull who procreates. Nejem is, you can think of it as procreation, who procreates uh the and the this is the Khanum potter. So he procreates and forms the Khanum gods. The Khanum gods are the potter spirits that will end up taking a concept of creation and turning it into a material manifestation of creation. So that's what the potter spirits do. There's seven of them, and they're actually mentioned to the left of the scene. So the left meaning more south. That's where the seven Khanum spirits are mentioned. And so Ptah is the one who created them. He also is uh, the father of It and Jaisu. The Jaisu are the creation words. So they are the conceptual expressions of the creator God. So there's seven of them as well. Uh, there's some literature on why seven is important, and just to give you a rough idea, it's probably has to do with astronomy. One of them is that the lunar cycle is divided into 4 periods of 7. That's one way that Egyptologists are interpreting the importance of 7. And the other one is, of course, the Big Dipper, which was important to the ancient Egyptians from probably the very beginning of their of Egyptian history, and even before. The Big Dipper is composed of 7 stars. So the Jaisu are the recorded creation words of the creator God. Um, anyway, so he's the father, Ptah is the father of the Jaisu, and uh, the Mau and Sheptiu. The Mau is another word, is another way to say the a creator uh, of the Sheptiu. The Sheptiu now are the facilities of conceptualization of creation, right? So what they do is they're called far and great. There's two Sheptiu. The Sheptiu, the far is the distant thought, the inkling, so to speak, and then the great is the idea that now becomes a focused thought. So these two are the conceptual facilities of Ptah, and then the utterance of that is then recorded. The utterance is the Jaisu. So this has to do with creation. These are just personified facilities of creation. And then Uteth and the Peseju. So he's the again the creator or the procreator of the Peseju uh Tepiu. So these are the first the I'm sorry, the Pautiu Tepiu. So these are the first original primordial gods. So Ptah is the ultimate creator that started everything. And now let's go to this text. So it's words to be spoken by by ipen means these. It's a demonstrative pronoun. These gods, these great O'au ipen. This is put forward because it's when gods are mentioned, they usually come mentioned first. So it's these great gods. Uru means the great ones, and so the reference here is now to these two gods that we just talked about. So there's Ra Horakhti, uh, and then this is Ptah Tatenen. There's the crown, the white crown on the standard. And this means this here is hard to see, but it is this is the tooth sign, the tusk sign, but um in this particular sentence, it works just as a consonant. So it's actually henna. And I know that this is confusing because that's the mouth. And so it should be hair. You would think it's H and R, but it's actually henna. Henna, and this is something you just have to know at Edfu in later Ptolemaic texts. This this functions as together with or and. You can think of it as and. So Rahorachti and or with, uh, and then this means Jeff Jeffenef. Jeffenef means it's a way to say father, but here's a good example of how the visuals are important because Jeffenef, you can see there's a lips that are spitting. So the creation, the father created Ra. The insinuation is that it's through emission of saliva, of spit, right? So that's the act of creation. That's why it's spelled in this unusual way. So Jefenef. And well, you might say that the mouth sign is actually usually again that's an R, but the way this works, this is sophisticated hieroglyphic, but it's a great example. This looks like the cobra, which is pronounced Je, right? So and that is the no Jeffenef. So instead of writing the cobra, they put this mouth sign with the spit. So uh, that is, there's a lot of visual information, even though if you were to look at this with a normal standard orthography, you probably wouldn't even be able to figure this out that this is supposed to be read Jeffenef. So this is enigmatic writing. It's a type of unusual orthography, and this is a great example of it. So it means Jefenef. Uh, and then this is Tatinin. Uh, and now there's not an end, but this is you have to think there's a comma now, and the Pautiu. Uh, the um, the Pautiu are the primordials, the primordial gods. So besides these two, there's another there's another set of gods, the primordial, and this means tepiu. So there's the tep sign. Uh, the tepiu are the first ones. So the first primordial gods. Uh, Cheper, this means that became. With there's the R is left out in Ptolemaic hieroglyphic. So there's a lot of abbreviations in Ptolemaic. In Old Egyptian, this would have been spelled out, but so here and there's no beetle sign, so you just have to know this is actually a very common occurrence in the Edfu text. So it means Cheper. So uh who became M M Hat Neteru. So who came to be as the first gods. So these are the first primordial gods to be the first at the beginning, the first gods. And then here, this is Shet means body, the embodiment in this case, the first original principal embodiment of that net mesit of that he, which is Ptah, has born. So that means that these primordial gods were created by Ptah. And of course, what they're saying is that the gods that we're about to meet, which of course I already told you is the Ogdoad, what that means is that even they are not self-created, even though that's what it says in the Hermopolitean Cosmogony. But in this text, it says that Ptah, that they represent the embodiment of what Ptah bore, as if he is a mother. So that's what I mean by bore. I'm sorry that I'm going a little bit slow. I'm just trying to be really meticulous so I don't make any mistakes. It's a just difficult text to read. And of course, I learned it from the German Edfu Project. So, but I'm going slow, so I'm apologize if it's too slow for you. But it's I just want to be absolutely correct and explain exactly why I'm reading it the way I'm reading it. Um, okay, now let's go to the next slide. So let's see where we were here. So here now, it says iti it it that's the horned viper sign. Iti means father of fathers. So the father of the fathers, uh, the the tpjw, which means the first ones, or the primeval ones. You can say first, primeval, primordial, original, principal. These are all kind of synonyms. It means at the beginning. So the tpjw, so this is the father of the fathers. So these are the fathers, and now comes the mothers. The mut, em sha'al. Em sha'al means at the beginning. The pesejet, pesejet means now. This is the first time we're mentioning the Ennead. The pesejet, um, pesejet, ihre of. This is I have to think about. Oh, this is N. Yeah. Okay. So the Ennead of S means its or hers, its procreator. Its procreator. So the it means that the Ennead was created by the procreator, and the procreator, of course, is Ptah. Um, and then this remas, rema means create. It's another. So we have procreation, and then we have creation. So these are all different words that describe the same act, which means to create. So remas, it's referring to the Ennead. So their procreator, their creator, their procreator. So this is more procreation, meaning the sexual act of creation, and this means the act of logos creation, like you're pronouncing a creation word and then it comes to be. Um, the and then this is faded, but this means kau means the cause, and this means, yeah, it's hard to see. Cause uru, it means the great cause. Uh, ka and ka. So these are the great ka that create great cause. Well, I went too far, I think. Let me go back here. Where were we? Here were we? Okay. So the Ennead, it creates great cause. Ka uru from the from the procreating bull, which is Ptah, and then there's that word nejemjem again, which again means procreation. That's the sexual act of procreation. Nejemjem, uh, and then this is the children, the divine children, the Ha. I'm sorry, the Zaut Neterai, those are the divine children of the one who is, this means Resi Ainebef, means the one who's south of his wall, which is a strange epithet of Ptah. I never quite understand it, but the wall is supposed to be Memphis, right? So south of Memphis, that is somehow associated with Ptah. It's something that I still don't understand, but this is an epithet of Ptah. So there's lots of epithets of Ptah. So now this is a long introduction, and now comes uh again a reiteration of these two great gods, which is the Jeff, the that's the pupil. So the pupil of the Wadjet. So that you see that is the pupil, that is Ra. M Ba means um together with Irta is another name for Ptah, so there's yet another name. Together with Irta. So there's Ptah, there's Rahu Rakti, and Heno, there's that word again, Heno, together with the fathers and mothers, together with the father and mothers of the Che Shep, I think this means Shepes. Yeah, Shepes. This is a little bit overlain, as you can see. Shepes means the proud child, or their proud child, or their noble. And actually, I'm sorry, it's Shepes means noble. So it's the noble, venerated child. So together with the fathers and mothers of the noble or venerated child, and that's of course now going to be Horus. Uh, the the Nebu means the lords of okay, this is the Ayaut. Ayaut means the lords of the divine offices. Ayaut means offices, means uh in other words, the offices is sort of the it's kind of like the presidency, the president, and then there's the presidency, and this is Ayaut, is you can think of it as the offices of the gods. The rulers of the throne, Neset, and the rulers of the the there's the Pautiu, the again the primordial one. So they're the rulers of the throne of the primordial ones. And there's Shao from the beginning. And now here comes an important phrase that have sepecheren, that means that have recorded the the Ganut. Ganut, and this is hard to see, but it is uh, it is the annals. There's the annals. There's the papyrus strip that and Gau the Ganut is you the literal translation of Ganut is actually the is the bent knee, from what I remember from the pyramid text. But and I can't tell you right now why it means what it means, but it means annals here. So this is so these it's an important concept because it means that written documents began from the very early first cycle of creation in ancient Egypt. So that's what, and you can see there's the stylus in the hand. So and sepecher means to record. So record the annals, and to the annals, like for example, the king list. Uh, And then and this is hard to see again. I can see this on the picture. I can only tell you this from Chassinat's transcription. So there must have been something that happened after the 40s when Chassinat transcribed this. But what this is supposed to say is whose car names uh, are the great Ogdoad. And yeah, I know this is hard to see. There's the car whose car names are the great Ogdoad, and then there's the great, right? So whose car names are the Ogdoad, so the eight basically, the Chemenu, the great eight, and then this is Demej, means united, Op together with their father. So this is the referring to Ogdoad, united together with their father. It Itzen means their father, and those nine now, so it's the eight plus the father, which is Ptah, are the Ennead. So this is the first major conclusion I wanted to show you, is that the Ennead, the quintessential Ennead, is defined as Ptah plus the Ogdoad. And let's go to the next one. And then here it says the tpjw is another way to write tpjw. Uh, the tpjw are again the primordial ones. Uh, the tpjw m, yeah, tpjw, that's a determinative. And then here you see how there was a some kind of correction here. That's why there's an overlay. But you can still see, so the tepu are the primordial ones, M, and there it says Zep Tepi. So the primordial ones, the primeval Ennead is the Ogdoad plus Ptah that were existent at the first time. Zep Tepi is the first time, is the first occasion, if you will. Um, but the text obviously is not referring to an instant, but it's it's more an epoch. It's a time when these gods existed. And then sepecheru, that means bringing into existence, bringing into existence. Zasen means their son, as the Che Shepes, the noble or the venerated son, M, 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 Rema, so this is the, now this is the child is Horus, uh, Rem, Rema, so that they, that he, that they create him, that he hetemefsen, that he perfects them or completes them. Hetem means to complete, so that he completes them as God number 10. Uh, and this is where we're going to stop, because I think that was a loadful. But so this is the second major conclusion. So first, there's three major conclusions. The Ennead is Ptah plus the Ogdoad. The second conclusion is that they existed at Zep Tepi, and the third conclusion is that they bear into life, or they bring into life, a child, and that child is Horus, or Rahorachti, of course, who's sitting at the front of this group, who completes them. And that's a rather complicated text, but I just wanted to, I think sometimes it's good to see the actual writing on the wall because, you hear people talking about texts and things get altered, obviously. It's hearsay, word to mouth, blah, 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 right? So things get changed. But so I like to go back to the original text and actually show people, and of course show myself to confirm to myself what is actually written that where the knowledge comes from, the knowledge about how the ancient Egyptians viewed their own past. And whether or not has anything to do with reality and history, that's a completely separate question. But what matters here is what they believed, and what they believed is pretty explicitly spelled out if you just find the text, and then you have to be able to translate them. So I am, of course, heavily indebted to the German Edfu Project, Dr. Dieter Kurth. In fact, the pictures that I'm showing you were given to me by Dr. Kurth. This is these are close-up pictures that are only possible on a telescope camera. And Dr. Kurth also is, of course, providing the transliteration. So, a lot of this is Ptolemaic hieroglyphic. Uh, Even if you know how to read the pyramid text, it does not mean um, you can necessarily decipher the vocalization of these symbols. Many of them you can, but not all of them, as I was showing you. There's some enigmatic writing, and then Ptolemaic hieroglyphic has many more symbols that weren't present in the Old Kingdom and the Middle Kingdom, something like 3 times more symbols. Um, and then of course I have to now translate as best as I can into English for you all that speak English and not German, what the Edfu project has pieced together. But I always like to stay with the original text, so I don't want to just translate into English from the German because, I might be adopting some Germanisms and I don't want to do that. So I want to show you as original a translation into English as possible. And in order for other people to be able to recapitulate this, they also have to first be able to recognize, well, what is the actual transliteration? And so that was the point of this exercise. Okay, I know this was slow. I apologize. No worries if you ended up tuning out, falling asleep. I get it. This was more an academic, didactic video. So, but I'm done. See you next time.